As the Zilothian generals returned to their ship, their minds were abuzz with questions. The playground scene they had just witnessed was unlike anything they had encountered in their extensive travels across the galaxy. The children's fearless play was a stark contrast to their own culture, where caution and precision were paramount. Vrax, Tala, and Corin gathered in the ship's command center, eager to dissect their observations. The nature of play. Let us analyze what we have seen. Vrax began, his voice steady but tinged with curiosity. These humans engage in activities that appear dangerous, yet they do so with joy. What purpose does this serve? Corin, tapping into the ship's vast database, pulled up information on human development. Play is essential for their growth. It helps them learn social skills, problem solving, and even physical coordination. However, their methods seem excessively risky. Tila interjected, her eyes sparkling with intrigue. But isn't that the essence of exploration? They push boundaries to discover their limits. Perhaps we are misunderstanding their intentions. Vrax nodded slowly, considering her point. We must delve deeper into this phenomenon. Let us observe them further and attempt to understand the psychological implications of such behavior. A new approach. The generals decided to return to Earth the following day, this time equipped with advanced observation technology that would allow them to study the children without being seen. They set up a cloaked observation post near a different playground, eager to witness more of these peculiar human rituals. As the sun rose over the horizon, casting golden rays across the park, the playground came alive with laughter and energy. Children raced toward swings and slides while parents watched from benches nearby. The Zilothians focused their sensors on a group of children who were playing a game that involved running and jumping over obstacles. What are they doing now? Corin asked, his brow furrowed as he observed a child attempting to vault over a makeshift barrier made of cardboard boxes. They call it parkour, Tila explained after scanning her databanks. It's a form of movement that encourages agility and creativity. They navigate through their environment in unconventional ways. Vrax watched intently as one child stumbled but quickly regained her balance, laughing as she fell into a pile of leaves. Their resilience is remarkable, he noted. They seem to derive pleasure from overcoming challenges. The role of risk. As the day progressed, the generals witnessed various games that involved risk-taking, climbing trees, riding bicycles at breakneck speeds, and even engaging in mock battles with sticks as swords. Each time a child fell or faced an obstacle, they would laugh or cheer each other on rather than retreating in fear. This behavior is intriguing, Corin remarked. It appears that risk is an integral part of their playtime experience. Indeed, Tila agreed. They are not merely playing. They are learning how to navigate challenges, both physical and social. This could be a vital aspect of their development. Vrax contemplated this revelation. Is it possible that this willingness to embrace danger fosters stronger bonds among them? They support one another through failures and successes alike. A deeper understanding. To gain further insight into human play dynamics, the generals decided to engage in conversations with some of the adults supervising the children. They activated their translation devices and approached a group of parents sitting on a bench. "Excuse us," Vrax said politely, his voice calm yet authoritative. "We are curious about your children's playtime activities. What significance do you attribute to such dangerous games?" The parents exchanged glances before one spoke up, a woman with kind eyes and an easy smile. "Oh, it's all part of growing up. Kids need to test their limits. It helps them learn about risk and safety in a controlled environment." Another parent chimed in. "We encourage them to explore and take chances because it builds confidence. Sure, they might get scraped knees or bruises now and then, but those experiences teach them resilience." Tila listened intently, fascinated by how these adults understood the importance of risk in play. "So you believe that facing danger helps them grow stronger?" "Absolutely," said the woman enthusiastically. "It's about learning how to deal with failure and trying again, skills they'll need throughout life. Reflections on humanity. As they returned to their ship later that day, Vrax felt a newfound respect for humanity blossoming within him. The Zilothians had always prided themselves on their strategic thinking and cautious approach to challenges. However, witnessing human children embrace risk opened his eyes to an entirely different perspective. As dusk settled over the park, it was time for storytelling. A tradition cherished by both species, the generals invited everyone back into the ship for snacks and stories from their respective worlds. Seated in a cozy area filled with soft cushions and glowing lights, Maya began sharing tales of Earth, adventures filled with dragons, heroes, and magical lands. Her friends chimed in with stories of friendship and bravery from their own experiences. In turn, Vrax shared stories from Zilothian history, epic battles fought for honor and tales of exploration across galaxies. The humans listened intently. Although different from their own stories, there was something deeply relatable about themes of courage and friendship. As stories flowed freely between them, laughter erupted when one child recounted a humorous mishap from school, an incident involving a science experiment gone hilariously wrong. Building bonds. By the end of the night, bonds had formed between these once strange beings from different worlds. The Zilothians learned that humans were not so different after all. Both species shared values of friendship, courage, and creativity. As they prepared for departure back home, Vrax felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him. "Thank you all for joining us today," he said sincerely. "You have taught us so much about your world." Maya beamed with pride. "And we've learned about yours too. Can we do this again?" Tila smiled warmly at her enthusiasm. "Absolutely. We would love to have you back anytime." With hearts full of joy and minds brimming with newfound knowledge, both groups exchanged farewells as they prepared for another adventure, one that would continue bridging gaps between worlds through laughter and play. As the Zilothian ship ascended into the night sky once more, Vrax gazed out at Earth below, a vibrant planet filled with endless possibilities for connection and understanding among its inhabitants. In that moment, he realized that this cultural exchange was just the beginning. There were countless lessons yet to learn from humanity, a journey fueled by curiosity that would undoubtedly shape both their futures in profound ways. As the Zilothian ship soared through the cosmos, the atmosphere inside was charged with excitement and reflection. The cultural exchange with the human children had opened new doors of understanding, and the generals were eager to process everything they had experienced. They gathered in the command center, where holographic displays flickered with images from their recent adventures. Reflecting on experiences, Vrax leaned forward, his eyes scanning the faces of his fellow generals. "Today was transformative," he began. "We witnessed firsthand how play fosters connections and resilience among children, regardless of their species." Tila nodded enthusiastically. "The way human children embrace challenges is unlike anything we've seen before. They find joy in overcoming obstacles, which strengthens their bonds with one another." Corin, who had been quietly analyzing data from their observations, added, "And it's not just about physical challenges. The emotional support they offer each other during play is equally important. It's a lesson we can apply to our own society." The importance of play. The generals discussed the role of play in both human and Zilothian cultures. They recognized that while their own upbringing emphasized caution and strategy, there was value in allowing children to explore freely. Tila shared her thoughts on how this could be integrated into Zilothian education. "If we encourage our young ones to engage in more unstructured play, they might develop creativity and problem-solving skills that go beyond traditional methods," she suggested. Vrax agreed. "We must find a balance between our cautious nature and the adventurous spirit of humans. This could lead to a new era of growth for our species." Planning for future interactions. Inspired by their experiences, the generals began drafting plans for future interactions with humans. They envisioned regular exchanges where both species could learn from each other, sharing games, stories, and traditions. What if we create an annual event? Corin proposed. A festival that celebrates both Zilothian and human cultures through games and storytelling. Tila's eyes sparkled at the idea. That would be wonderful. We could invite children from Earth to participate in our games while teaching them about our history and values. Vrax smiled at the prospect. And we can learn from their stories as well. Understand their struggles and triumphs through their eyes. A new understanding of humanity. As they prepared to return to Earth for another visit, Vrax felt a profound sense of gratitude for what they had learned. The human children had shown them that strength lies not only in physical prowess but also in emotional resilience and community support. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the playground, the Zilothian generals reflected on their recent experiment with their young ones. They had witnessed firsthand the power of play in fostering resilience, creativity, and social bonds. However, they felt that their understanding of humanity was still incomplete. Inspired by their observations, Vrax proposed an idea that would deepen their connection with Earth. Cultural exchange. Planning the exchange. Let's invite human children to our ship, Vrax suggested, his eyes gleaming with excitement. They can experience our culture while we learn more about theirs. Tila and Corin exchanged glances, both intrigued and apprehensive. Do you think they'll accept? Corin asked. Why wouldn't they? Tila replied confidently. Children are naturally curious. We can present it as an adventure, a chance to explore a new world. With a plan in place, the generals set to work. They contacted a local school on Earth, explaining their mission and inviting a group of children for an intergalactic playdate. After some initial skepticism, the school principal agreed, excited about the unique opportunity for students. The arrival of human children. On the designated day, the Zilothian ship hovered silently above the playground where they had first observed human children at play. As the door opened, a ramp extended down to the ground, revealing a shimmering interior filled with strange but inviting sights. A group of excited children approached cautiously but curiously. Among them was a girl named Mia, known for her adventurous spirit and boundless energy. She led her friends up the ramp, eyes wide with wonder. "Welcome to our ship," Vrax greeted them warmly as they stepped inside. "We are excited to share our world with you." The children gasped at the vibrant colors and advanced technology surrounding them. Tila explained various features of the ship while Corin prepared activities that would blend both cultures. Exploring Zilothian culture. The first activity involved showcasing Zilothian games that emphasize strategy and teamwork. The children were introduced to a game called Galactic Conquest, where teams had to navigate through holographic mazes while solving puzzles to reach their goals. "Ready? Go," Tila announced as the game began. Maya quickly took charge of her team, strategizing how to tackle obstacles while encouraging her friends to think creatively. The Zilothian children watched in awe as their human counterparts displayed an impressive ability to adapt and collaborate. "This is amazing," one Zilothian child exclaimed as he navigated through a particularly tricky maze with Maya's guidance. As they played, laughter filled the air, creating an atmosphere of camaraderie that transcended species boundaries. The Zilothians were surprised by how quickly the human children adapted to their games and even began incorporating elements of their own play into it. A taste of Earth games. After several rounds of galactic conquest, it was time for the human children to introduce their favorite games. Maya suggested playing tag, a simple yet exhilarating game that required speed and agility. "Let's play outside," she exclaimed, leading everyone back down the ramp into the lush green park surrounding the ship. The Zilothians were initially hesitant. They had never engaged in such unstructured play before. However, as they joined in on tag, they quickly learned that running and chasing could be just as thrilling as any strategic game. The laughter echoed through the park as children darted around trees and dodged each other's grass. Vrax found himself caught up in the excitement. He hadn't felt such joy in ages. "Catch me if you can," he shouted playfully, sprinting away from Maya and her friends. Learning through play. As they played together, cultural barriers began to dissolve. The human children taught their Zilothian friends about teamwork through playful banter and encouragement during tag matches. In turn, the Zilothians introduced new strategies that made even simple games like hide and seek more complex and engaging. After several rounds of play, everyone gathered under a large tree to catch their breath. Maya looked around at her new friends, both human and alien, and smiled brightly. "This is so much fun. I love how we can all play together." Tila nodded in agreement. "Play is a universal language," she said thoughtfully. "It allows us to connect beyond our differences," Corin added. "And through these connections, we learn more about each other's cultures." Sharing stories. "This is incredible," Corin remarked, noting how quickly they adapted to their new surroundings. They are embracing the challenge, just like human children. Risk and reward. As the experiment progressed, it became clear that risk-taking was an integral part of their play. The Zilothian children started attempting daring feats, jumping from higher platforms or swinging higher than they ever had before. One child named Lyra climbed to the top of a climbing structure that resembled a giant spider web. From her vantage point, she could see her friends below cheering her on. With a burst of courage, she leaped off the edge and landed safely on a soft mat below. "Did you see that? I flew," she shouted gleefully. Vrax felt a surge of pride mixed with concern as he watched Lyra's daring jump. "They are fearless," he said thoughtfully, "but we must ensure they understand safety as well." Tila nodded in agreement, but couldn't help but smile at their enthusiasm. This is how they learn, through experience and sometimes through mistakes. Building connections. As more time passed, it became evident that social interaction played a crucial role in their play. The Zilothian children began forming teams and collaborating on challenges, building structures from foam blocks or creating obstacle courses for each other. "Let's see who can jump over this," shouted one boy named Corin as he set up an obstacle made from holographic logs. As they took turns attempting to clear the obstacle, laughter filled the air, a sound so similar to what they had heard from human children just days before. "This is fascinating," Tila remarked as she observed them cheering each other on after each attempt. "They are not just playing, they are building friendships." Vrax agreed, noting how these interactions mirrored those he had seen among human children. "This camaraderie is essential for their development," he said thoughtfully. Unexpected challenges. However, not all experiences were without hiccups. During one round of jumping challenges, Corin miscalculated his leap and tumbled onto the ground with an audible thud. For a moment, silence hung in the air as everyone froze. Then Corin let out a laugh, brushing himself off as he stood up unscathed. "That was awesome. I want to try again." The generals exchanged glances filled with relief and admiration for Corin's resilience. "Their ability to recover from setbacks is remarkable," Corin noted. As the experiment continued, it became clear that these moments of failure were just as important as moments of success. They taught valuable lessons about perseverance and resilience. Reflections on play. By the end of their time in the holographic playground, exhaustion mingled with exhilaration among the Zilothian children. As they gathered around Vrax and Tila for debriefing, their faces glowed with excitement. "What did you enjoy most?" Tila asked gently. "I love jumping off high things," Lyra exclaimed with wide eyes. "I liked building things with my friends," Corin added proudly. Vrax smiled at their responses but also felt compelled to emphasize safety lessons learned during playtime. "Remember that while exploration is important, understanding your limits is equally crucial." The children nodded earnestly. They understood that both fun and caution were essential components of growth. New perspective. As they concluded their experiment and returned to their normal duties aboard the ship, Vrax felt invigorated by what he had witnessed. The day had not only provided insights into human play, but also revealed valuable lessons about resilience and friendship within his own species. "We must continue exploring these concepts," he said thoughtfully as he reviewed data collected during playtime. "There is much we can learn from both our experiences and those of humans." Tila nodded enthusiastically. "Perhaps we can incorporate more interactive experiences into our education systems back home." Corin smiled at his companion's enthusiasm, but reminded them gently, "We must also balance this newfound knowledge with our values. Caution must remain part of our identity." With renewed purpose and understanding guiding them forward into uncharted territories, both within themselves and beyond, the Zilothian generals prepared for another day filled with discovery and growth ahead. Their mission had transformed into something much more profound than mere observation. It was now about building bridges between worlds through shared experiences, a journey fueled by curiosity and imagination that would ultimately shape not only their future, but also theirs together as allies across galaxies yet unexplored. "We have much to learn from these beings," he said thoughtfully as he reviewed the day's data. "Their approach to life is not just about survival. It's about thriving through experience." Corin agreed but added cautiously, "While there is wisdom in their methods, we must also consider the potential dangers involved. Not all risks lead to growth. Some can lead to harm." Tila nodded in understanding but maintained her optimism. "Perhaps we can find a balance between caution and exploration, a way for our species to learn from each other." Planning for tomorrow. The next day promised even more insights as the generals prepared for another round of observations. They aimed not only to understand human play, but also to explore how these interactions shape relationships among children. As they set up their observation equipment once again, Vrax felt a surge of excitement mixed with apprehension about what they would discover next. Would they continue to witness resilience? Would there be new games that challenged not only physical limits but also emotional ones? With anticipation hanging thick in the air like morning mist, the Zilothian generals prepared themselves for another day of exploration, a journey into the heart of what it meant to be human through play. Their mission had transformed from mere observation into an exploration of connection, a quest for understanding that bridged two worlds separated by distance yet united by curiosity and wonder. The experiment. As the Zilothian generals settled into their ship, excitement buzzed in the air. After their enlightening observations of human play, they were ready to take a bold step forward. They had witnessed the resilience and creativity of children, but now they wanted to experience it firsthand. The idea of conducting an experiment began to take shape in their minds, one that would allow them to simulate human play and explore its dynamics in a controlled environment. Designing the experiment. In the ship's command center, Tila took the lead in planning the experiment. "We need to create a safe yet challenging environment for our own young Zilothians," she proposed. "It should mimic the playgrounds we observed on Earth, incorporating elements that encourage risk-taking and creativity." Vrax nodded, intrigued by the concept. "We can use holographic technology to project various obstacles and games that humans play. This will allow us to observe how our children react to these challenges without any real danger." Corin, who had been analyzing data on human behavior, chimed in. "We should also include a social aspect. The children need to interact with one another as they play. This will provide insights into their social dynamics." With a plan in place, the generals set to work. They programmed their ship's advanced holographic systems to create a virtual playground that mirrored the chaotic joy of Earth's parks. As they worked, anticipation grew among the crew members. They were eager to see how their young ones would respond to this new experience. The arrival of Zilothian children. Once everything was ready, it was time for the Zilothian children to participate in the experiment. The generals summoned a group of young Zilothians, who entered the command center with wide eyes and curious expressions. They had heard whispers of an exciting adventure awaiting them. "Welcome, young ones," Vrax announced, his voice booming yet warm. "Today, you will engage in a special activity that will help you learn and grow." The children exchanged glances, their excitement palpable. "What kind of activity?" one of them asked eagerly. "We are going to let you play," Tilla replied with a smile. "But not just any play. You will experience games from another world, Earth." The young Zilothians gasped in unison, their imaginations ignited by the prospect of exploring something entirely new. Entering the holographic playground. As the children stepped into the holographic playground, they were immediately enveloped by vibrant colors and dynamic sounds. The environment was designed to mimic a typical Earth playground. Swings swayed gently in the virtual breeze, slides gleamed invitingly under an artificial sun, and obstacles awaited eager explorers. "Look at that!" one child exclaimed as he dashed toward a towering slide that spiraled down like a twisting serpent. "Wait for me!" another shouted, racing after him. The generals observed closely as the Zilothian children began climbing and exploring with unrestrained enthusiasm. They watched as laughter erupted when one child slipped down a slide and landed in a soft pile of holographic foam blocks. In a distant galaxy, far beyond the reach of human technology, a fleet of sleek, silver ships glided silently through the void. These ships belonged to the Zilothians, a race known for their advanced intellect and formidable military prowess. At the helm of this fleet were three esteemed generals, Vrax, Tella, and Corin. They had been tasked with a mission unlike any other, a mission to observe Earth, a planet teeming with life and brimming with potential threats. As they approached Earth, Vrax activated the ship's cloaking device, rendering them invisible to any prying eyes below. "Prepare for descent," he commanded, his voice echoing through the command chamber. Tilla adjusted her console, her green skin shimmering under the soft lights of the control panel. Entering atmosphere in 3, 2, 1. With a gentle shudder, the ship broke through Earth's atmosphere, revealing a vibrant world filled with sprawling cities and lush landscapes. The generals had studied humans from afar, but nothing could prepare them for what they were about to witness. They landed discreetly in a secluded park, surrounded by towering trees that swayed gently in the breeze. As they disembarked from their ship, they donned cloaks that would allow them to blend in with their surroundings. They were eager to observe these curious creatures known as humans. From their hidden vantage point behind a cluster of bushes, they watched as children played in a nearby playground. Laughter filled the air, a sound so foreign yet enchanting to their ears. Vrax adjusted his ocular implants for better clarity. "What are they doing?" he asked, bewildered by the sight before him. The children were engaged in various activities. Some swung high on swings while others climbed precariously on jungle gyms. A group was playing tag, darting around with reckless abandon. Tella's eyes widened as she witnessed one child leap from a swing at its peak height, soaring through the air before landing unceremoniously on the ground. "Is this normal behavior?" Corin questioned skeptically. They seemed to be engaging in acts that could lead to injury or worse. "Indeed," Vrax replied, still transfixed by the scene unfolding before them. "They exhibit no fear of danger." As if on cue, a child stumbled while running too fast and fell onto the grass. Instead of crying or retreating in fear, he laughed heartily as his friends rushed over to help him up. This display puzzled the Zilothian generals even further. "Fascinating," Tilla mused aloud. "Their reaction is not one of distress but rather joy in adversity." The trio continued observing as another child climbed to the top of a slide and prepared to descend headfirst. Vrax felt his heart race as he watched this act of sheer audacity unfold. "This is reckless. What if they fall? What if they get hurt?" His voice was laced with concern. "Perhaps it is part of their development," Corin suggested thoughtfully. "They seem to learn from these experiences." As minutes turned into hours, the generals remained hidden, captivated by this strange ritual called playtime. They took notes on everything, the laughter, the shrieks of delight, and even the occasional cries when someone got hurt but quickly recovered. Eventually, as dusk began to settle over the horizon, casting warm hues across the sky, Vrax turned away from the playground reluctantly. "We must report back," he said with a mix of awe and confusion. "These humans are unlike anything we have encountered before." Tila nodded in agreement, but lingered for just a moment longer to watch a group of children gather around an adult who was telling stories animatedly. Their faces lit up with wonder as they listened intently. "There is something profoundly beautiful about their innocence," she remarked softly. As they made their way back to their ship under cover of darkness, each general was lost in thought about what they had just witnessed. A world where danger was embraced rather than feared, where joy was found even amidst chaos. Little did they know that this initial observation would set off a chain reaction that would forever alter their understanding of humanity. The Zilothian fleet ascended back into space, leaving behind only whispers of laughter carried by the wind, a sound that would echo in their minds long after they had departed Earth's atmosphere.